Welcome to lesson 5 in the second annual month of mediumship challenge. I am Sterling Moon. I am crouched between two boulders on a favorite trail of mine in Wyoming. One of the trails and one of the hikes that today's lesson is coming to you from. So, for lack of a better term, today's spirit communication lesson is called Animist. Spirit communication. I am not a scholar on animism. There are some wonderful people out there who know a lot more about the folklore and come at it from an academic perspective. I am not one of those people. All I can tell you is that I am going to be 44 in a few weeks on my next birthday. I grew up not far from this area that I'm at now in Wyoming as an only child in the 90s in a rather chaotic, unsafe, and fairly unstable household a lot of the times. And, as I kind of came into myself and, began to heal and understand who I am, nature became one of the best teachers that I ever could have had. And particularly these spaces that I'm sharing with you right now. I'm not going to tell you exactly where they are, frankly, because a few too many people are starting to find them and they're not being treated with the reverence and care that they should be. So if you know the places that I'm showing you, no, you don't. Okay. So here's what I want you to just consider. My hope is at this point that you are having some fun. You've gotten to, engage in some practice, that you're having a good time reading photos, connecting with ancestors or loved ones who've, crossed over using the solo spirit communication tips that I shared with you in lesson 4. But my hope is one of the things that you will try now is seeing how it goes when you use those same spirit communication techniques with something other than the spirit of the human dead. And I have to tell you, one of the best lessons that I've ever learned, and I'm literally crouched between two boulders because this was like a break from the wind. So I'm 3 feet off the ground right now. Anyway, you didn't need to know that, but there we go. One of the best lessons that I learned through studying magic is that everything has a spirit. Everything has a spirit and nothing is outside of nature. So, in lesson 3, when I kind of talked about all the different types of spirits that you may encounter, part of that is just it's fun. Okay. I mean, hopefully at this point I've driven home that this stuff can be a lot of fun. It doesn't have to be scary or serious or whatever. But also just consider that everything has a spirit. And, I think one of the easiest ones to grasp are, other living things like plants or animals. But also consider boulders, the land itself. I'm in a very windy place. The wind sometimes has things to say. When you start a fire when you're camping safely, or you are burning a candle and you're staring into it, what does the spirit of that fire have to say? And so, just as an experiment, I want you to go ahead and use the images that are below, images and videos. I tried to take up 20 minute, this would be a long lesson, 20-second video clips of different spaces and different, plants and boulders and just areas that seem to have a lot to say, have always seemed kind of loud to me or seemed kind of loud in that moment. For the plants, don't get worked up about what kind of plant it is. It doesn't matter. What does it have to say to you? Is because, one of the things too, as I'm saying this, there is this unbelievably odd winged ant that I've never seen anything quite like it before. Anyway, sorry, nature is always talking. So, but what do maybe some of these plants or boulders or areas, what do they have to say to you? Do they have a message for you? And then, practice on your screen and then go outside. And I don't care if you live in the most urban of urban areas. Go find that resilient little dandelion that's growing through the cracks of the pavement outside your house. Go and find that odd bug that you find in the street. Go try spirit communication with a bird that you see in a tree. Go put your hands on some dirt outside and see if there's anything that land under, that the dirt is a part of, has to say to you. I know that this sounds a little dippy hippie and a little like out there, but I have to tell you that, I get a lot of people who study mediumship with me. Gotta kind of lift myself up off my boulder another foot. I get a lot of people who study mediumship with me because, they do want to be able to help other people. I'm one of there's not a lot of folks who are teaching kind of mediumship in the way that I am. And I recognize that. So I do get a lot of folks who are kind of interested in doing this as part of their work. And that's awesome. I love that. And because it's hard to find teachers and mentors, particularly with this stuff. But, my bigger hope is that it helps the world seem more magical. It helps you to find your place, feel like you have a sense of place in this very confusing, very hard world that we are in. That, for some of us who've I've been through some stuff and I'm sure that some of you who are watching this have as well. And, feeling like we're part of something big and vast and mysterious where we don't have to have all the answers and there's more than that's just in front of us and that we're connected with something bigger. I can't tell you how healing that has been for me. Some of the worst times in my life, this particular area that I'm in right now, I would come to with my dogs, by myself, with good friends, and my heart healed from feeling connected with something bigger than myself, and nature's always been a part of it. So, okay, this is a little of a goopier lesson than usual, but the reality is that for me, this is kind of goopy work. Even if I never intended on doing this work full time, I've said that before and I'll say it a million times over. And I'm always, taking care of my family and making sure that I'm healthy and happy are my top priorities. And if there ever comes a point where this work is not fitting the bill anymore, I'll do something else for work. I will always do this as part of my regular practice and taking care of myself and feeling connected with something bigger. And that's my hope for you as well. That, if you are kind of engaging in this as maybe professional curiosity, super cool. I love it. I love having, we got to support each other in this work. And also, I just want you to feel the fucking wonder of this weird world and universe that we live in. So my babies, that is lesson 5. Please go and you follow the prompts, practice your steps. Discernment, getting to neutral, grounding in some way, protecting, talking to a spirit of some kind, releasing, doing some kind of cleansing. You've got those steps down. And if you need a refresher, please refer back to the other, the previous lessons. There's a fly that's on my phone that's listening very intently to what I'm saying. See, spirit communication's happening all the time. Now, practice with what's below. Then go outside and talk to a plant, talk to an animal, talk to a rock, talk to the wind, talk to some dirt. And then if you feel like it, talk to me and let me know how it went. Okay, we're in the home stretch. I will be sharing, look down below. There is the date for the final kind of capstone virtual class that I'm going to be teaching via Crowdcast. And now I have a bee that's kind of hanging out with me. It's getting we're having lots of insect magic here right now. But anyway, so read down below. There's going to be 2 or 3 more lessons coming your way. Then we'll have our class and we'll call it good until next year. All right, I hope you have some fun. Goodbye.